Welcome, everybody. Yeah, thank you. I'm Shri, and I'm the service assistant for today, and I'm going to say hi to everyone. Today we have Reverend Frank, and he'll come and tell you what it's going to be about today.
Yeah. What's it going to be about today? Hi, I'm Reverend Frank. I see some new people here. Nice to meet you for those who don't know me. And we've been in a bit of a four-part piece, and we'll explain that a little bit, but this is the third of four. It started with winter, spring, and today, as you can tell from this bright picture in front of you, it's summer. So we're talking about summer, the energy of summer, which is the energy of creativity. So today's talk has to do with creativity, but not just creativity for its own sake, but the creativity that comes from a focus on harmony, So that's the focus for today.
Okay, our music ministry is like amazing today, obviously. So we already have a taste of that with our music team, I guess. It's so we have Marcia and Deborah and Kathy, and we want to thank you. And we're in for a beautiful angelic treat with our harp music today, and that's with Jill. So we want to thank you for sharing your gift.
When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God.
The words from that beautiful song, let us go deeper as we pray together. The most simple prayer is to say thank you. Thank you. And when you say thank you, what comes to your mind? Thank you that a family member or friend is healing, that you have love in your life. Thank you for a world that is kind and safe and giving and healthy and beautiful. Giving thanks that we are right here, right now. Let us give thanks for all that the volunteers that help here at Unity of Bellingham, all that they do with their time and their treasure and their talents. We give thanks, and by giving thanks, we're pre-paving a desire before it materializes. So let us pause and silence our thoughts and listen. In unity, we affirm, peace be still. Peace be still. And in the silence, we find peace. We find the words and the feelings that all is okay. Peace be still and know life is unfolding. We say thank you and listen deeply to our inner voice, allowing the threads of truth that come to us expand and become new visions. Thank you. Thank you. And if there's anyone at this time that you would like to speak their name aloud that could use additional blessings, feel free to do that. And we say thank you. Amen. Now we move into a time of relaxing meditation. This is a time for you to renew and relax your body and mind. Begin by following your breath. Mindful breathing. Feeling your breath come in, pausing, releasing, giving equal attention to your body as you breathe. So take a few moments to mindfully breathe in, pause, and release. As you breathe, begin to feel a new flow within you. You are practicing living in the flow. Feel the sweetness. Focusing on your breath is the simplicity of living in the flow. Choosing to relax and breathe allows each of us to find our own divine flow that is active and available. Experience inner peace. Breathe. Allow yourself into the flow of Spirit Divine. When in the flow, we are one with all. This is our truth. We are in harmony with all life. Continue to breathe in, pause, release. Allow yourself into the flow as the singing bowls guide you to greater inner truth.
We could just go home now if you want. It's so good. Wow. We're talking about creativity today, or the way of creativity. And I think we experienced it in 3 different forms. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We have been doing a 4-part series, and the important thing about this series, I realized this morning, something the fun of doing these kind of talks and putting these together is the first person who's learning something is me. And because we flow into these into this vibration of what's beautiful, and the intention is what's true, and the intention of what is life-giving. And we started with we had the big mandala of the Unity Lotus. It's on your name tag, and it has 4 phases. And we started 2 weeks ago with the phase of winter. And then we moved last week into, of course, spring. And today is summer. And then we'll finish it in a couple of weeks with the energy of fall. And one of the things I noticed is that it also tracks morning, the dawn, the early morning. I mean, it's like night, morning, day, middle of the day, which we're going to talk about today, and then the dusk. And how each of these parts have a little bit different energy. And one of the things I've been curious about and a way to track it, was looking at people who sort of pray for a living, if you will. And I've been mostly looking at like the Benedictine Trappist monks' rhythm of prayer through a day, and using that as a bit of a template. But it's interesting that in Islam, there's this cycle of prayer too. You put down your mat and you pace Mecca and you pray. There's a cycle of prayer that goes through the day in Islam. And when I looked up the Buddhist monks, like the not so much Zen, I didn't see them, but in the Tibetan monks, how they have a flow, a rhythm of the different kind of meditations that happen through the day, and how all these traditions, we follow the Taoist tradition has it too. And we started with, there's some of you are new, in the wintertime it's in the dark, and the monks get up at 4 a.m. and they pray in the dark. And it's a prayer of expectation. And we're not running from the dark and what's considered negative. Rather, we're embracing it. We're turning towards it. We're going, what do you have? In the stillness, in the silence, in the dark, in the quiet. And if it's 4 a.m, oftentimes in the cold, where you have your warm hat and you throw something over your shoulders, it's that peace, and it's that expectation. It's the darkness, and it says, don't run away from it. And everybody who had something happen to them a couple weeks ago have written me and said, I'm in the winter now. It's true. We go through winters. And one of the pieces we're looking at is we're trying to suggest maybe we don't want to look at dualistic thinking, good, bad, this is wrong, this is right, this is good, this is bad. Now everything's okay, now everything's not okay. That these are flavors of the whole expanse of the human experience. I was thinking as you were singing, these 3, they harmonize. If everything's flat, there's no harmony. Sometimes you have low and sometimes you have really high, and you have tenor and alta and bass and what am I missing? Soprano. It's all the flavors that come together to make up this energy, this flow of life that's so beautiful for us. So instead of making one right or one wrong, we bring in the energy of all these aspects. And so what the prayer is for the monks, their morning prayers at 6 a.m., sunrise. It usually can be 6, but these guys don't have cell phones or clocks. It's like when the sun comes up, that's when you do it. When the sun goes down, that's the other time. And somewhere right in between is lunch, is noon. And they call it the 6th hour, because you get up at 6 and it's about noon. It's the 6th hour. I'm going to call it the prayer of the 6th. In Latin, it's the sext. I thought, well, that's probably not the best word to use these days. So we'll go with the 6th hour of the day. And what this prayer is, so I went and I looked it up, but what does this prayer look like? And what it says is kind of like we're halfway through the day, we got up early, we prayed, we meditated, we contemplated, we journaled, we did all this stuff, we had breakfast. Now we're halfway through the day, and the prayer is like, are we getting it right? It's a prayer of, what they would say is we're trying to do the will of the divine. We're trying to do the will of God. Let's pause and say, what we've been doing in our efforts today, are we harmonizing? Do we got the vibration right? Are we aligned? And it all starts from a consciousness of prayer. It all starts, the whole workday starts with first hours of focusing and getting aligned with the truth that we're in this vibrational match. It's a match game. Are we vibrationally matched with that divine energy that says, this is the way you want to work today. This is the way you want to outpicture today. At the end of this talk, at the end of this day, what I want to suggest is, what I've been suggesting myself, is in all our efforts, am I matched? Sometimes we start a project. Oh, I'm going to start this project, and here's why I'm going to do it. I got this work, and I got this work, and I got these tools and all this stuff. But that is not the way. We don't start work by thinking of how we're going to work. It's interesting. What these traditions tell us, there's a different way to begin our work. What's fascinating for me, a lot of you who know me know this. When I got into unity ministry, I thought, well, I have this balance because the Vedas are really important to me. The Bhagavad Gita, the Song of the Lord, the whole Vedic tradition and all that. I knew that tradition, and somehow the Tao just caught me. When I came here, Taoism caught me. I say Taoism, I don't want to make it the religion. That's a long story, but this aspect of the Tao. And what's interesting is a person in the West, I can reach back and take this information from the East, and I'm like, wow, this non-dual thinking, this holistic, harmonious thinking, this way of doing it. What's interesting is I told a friend of mine that's from China, I said, do you know the Tao? That's so cool, it's so non-dual, it's so beautiful. And she goes, oh, Frank, my parents used to say, a good Taoist does not behave that way. We got beat up with the Tao, patriarchal, women should be in their place. Oh man, the culture took the Tao and just beat it up. And she came from China and she said, then I came to the West and I found the Bible. Do you know this guy Jesus? He was such a mystic and beautiful person. Christianity is so holistic and beautiful. I was like, oh, you should see what we did with Christianity in the West. But if we could step back from the cultural stuff and hear and go back and hear the resonance of these great teachers. Lao Tzu wrote the Tao Te Ching. We don't know if Lao Tzu was a person or a compilation of people, or we give him that name. But there was someone that came along later, and his name was Chuang Tzu, and he was like the great commentator on the Tao, the great commentator on the Tao. So I went in and did a search. What new thought teachers have commented on the Tao? How about the Fillmore? You can search all this stuff. How about Ernest or Fenwick Holmes? How about, Nuna Brooks and Divine Science or Emmett Fox? What new thought, kind of in this thread that I like to swim in, who's commented on the Tao? And it went, well, none of those guys, but Wayne Dyer has. Yeah, he wrote a whole book on translating the Tao into sort of a contemporary way that's very resonant with me. And then I went, well, who else has done it? Who else from the West has really looked at the Tao? And I found out a guy named Thomas Merton. We've talked about Thomas Merton. Many of you know the great Trappist monk, all his writings from the 60s, who wrote a book about Chuang Tzu, who is the guy who commented on the Tao, and he wrote a bunch of stories that were like parables. They're like Taoist parables. And of course, one of the best things about Bellingham is Bellingham Library. They have all this stuff at our library. It's amazing what's at the Bellingham Library. And what's really amazing is I go to get the book, and it's like you're number 2 in line. I'm like, who is reading this in Bellingham? I asked the librarian, I said, I'm a unity minister, and I'm trying to check out these books that I think are pretty unique and maybe a bit esoteric. And I'm in line. How can I find those people who are checking out those books and tell them, come here. We're talking about this stuff. Come here. Who are you that reads Thomas Merton's Way of Chung Tzu. I don't know if somebody in Bellingham's reading this, as well as us. Here's a great parable. And this is the summer way, the way of creativity, the creative way. Once there was a woodcarver, this is called woodcarver, Cheng, the master carver, and he made a bell stand of precious wood. And when it was finished, all who saw it were astounded. And they said, "It's the work of the spirits." And the prince of Lu called in the master carver. And he says, "What's your secret?" So the master carver, Ching, responded, "Well, I'm only a workman." Larry, I was thinking of you when I read this story. Larry's the one that has redone the whole front doors, in case you haven't noticed. And how about a, yay, thank you, Larry. Just golf clap pause. I thought they were like oak doors. Turns out they're mahogany. Do you see these doors? Then he started on the inside. He was just gonna start just a little bit. They're almost all redone, front and back. A master wood carver, Larry, or Ching in this story, says, "I'm only a workman. I don't have a secret. There's only this. When I began to think about the work you commanded me, I guarded my spirit, and I did not expend it on trifles that were not to the point." Besides me, does anyone else expend a lot of energy on trifles? Instagram, YouTube, distractions. Anyone comes in, it's like, yeah, you've distracted me. I'll let go of what I'm doing and do that instead. Sure. On trifles that were not to the point, I fasted in order to set my heart at rest. And after 3 days of fasting, I'd forgotten all about either gain or success. That wasn't the point. And after 5 days, I forgot about either being praised or being criticized. And I fasted some more. And after 7 days, I'd forgotten my body, and I'd forgotten even that I had limbs. By this time, even my thought, "You, Highness," he's telling the prince, "and of all the court, I wasn't even thinking about you," faded away. All that night, all that might distract me from the work vanished, and I was collected in a single thought, the beautiful bell stand, just focused on that bell stand. And the vision, what is the vision? And then I went to the forest to see the trees on their own natural state. And then all of a sudden the right tree appeared to me right before my eyes. And within that tree, I saw the bell stand. I saw it right there in the tree after fasting 7 days. It was clearly beyond doubt. And then I put forth my hand and I begun. If I had not met that particular tree, there would not have been a bell stand. And what happened? Here's what happened. My own collected thought, listen, Unity people, my own collected thought encountered the potential in the wood. From that live encounter came the work. You call it the work of spirits. That's what you call it, the work of spirits. But what happened was I fasted, I focused, I saw the vision, I went into nature, I found what was available, it was as clear to me, and I set my hand to it, and here's the bell stand. So he doesn't talk about, well, I got my awl, and I got my tools, and I got my saw, and I did some cutting, and there was some sawdust, and I did this, and I painted, and I did. No. How did I make this beautiful, inspirited bell stand? I saw it. I saw it. I envisioned it. I could imagine it. And I took the time in the stillness and in the quiet and in the fasting. You know, he says fasting. You assume it means fasting from food. What it sounded like, he fasted from distraction. So he could put his mind in focused attention to create something out of nothing. I find that fascinating. This is my suggestion. I could stop right now, but I'm going to say a little bit more. But this is it. This is the via creative, the creative way, the summer way. The monks who stop and say, "We just want to check in. We're going to do our 6th hour prayer, and we're going to say, are we aligned? Are we meeting the vision? And in this parable, this Taoist parable, it's like the master woodcrafter saw it. But it's the sense that he saw it only after opening himself to the divine vision to work through him, so that what could be manifested was a work of spirit. And I think of how many projects I start with, I got a creative thing to do, so let me think what I need to do, as opposed to let me stop and be in the energy of what this is calling and what this is envisioning. What's interesting, I just have to say this. This is so much fun. A few months ago, Unity of Bellingham did a visioning session. We did a visioning. There was probably, I don't know how many was, 15 people here. People who wanted to come and say, well, let's just put out the vision. The results of that vision are on the bulletin board over there. You can still see it. And one of the very first things that came up, that bubbled to the top, is Unity of Bellingham is a calm, safe, spiritual, eco-sanctuary. Have you seen the transformation of the physical environment? Have you walked through the hallway? Calm, meditative, safe, spiritual, eco-sanctuary. As I look around, and you notice how we've moved the chairs a little bit. If you can imagine these chairs, this circle, it keeps going. It keeps going. And all the earth congregants, these are all, that owl's a congregant. Yeah, they're all, even the mice, yeah. All of it comes back around through the music. It's all one calm, spiritual, safe eco-sanctuary. And the art and the trees it's all moving to meet a vision. Do you feel it? And it wasn't like we made a big to-do list. It's like people got together and said, well, this is how it looks to me. And I'm not undermining it at all. He's been out here sweating for 3 days, standing in the doors. Not undermining the sweat. That's not the point. But the point is starting with a vision of what's possible and what's potential and what it could be. It's interesting that there's and here's something for people maybe newer. In Unity, we talk about a Trinity. And in a sort of a traditional way, we say Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and all that, which that's cool. We can play with that idea someday. Wonderful idea. But there's another way in Unity we talk about the Trinity's divine mind has divine ideas which divinely express. Mind, idea, and expression. The divine mind, which I love because it's you could say that's synonymous with God, or it's synonymous with the divine, the allness of all, the ground of being, the Brahman, the fullness of all the potentiality of all that is, that's all visible and all that's not even visible yet, the transcendent all and the immanent all together, the panentheistic complete totality of all beingness is the divine mind. And that divine mind has divine ideas, and maybe now those of us who like Carl Jung and more modern people, we'd say it's all the potential archetypes of all that's possible. All the archetypes. And they get expressed in an infinite number of potentialities and possibilities out there. And what's cool about being a human being is being, in Unity we'd say, enchrysted. The same energy that was in our master teacher, Jesus of Nazareth, is the same energy that is all of us. It's called to all of us to express the same way Jesus did, in the same way all the masters have done, all before us. Pick your other master as well. Jesus is a great prototype. Is we all have that same energy to express. And our mind, here's the cool thing, as humans, our mind, our human minds, think about that. Divine mind is another word for what we might call God, if you will. And we have a mind. And we have a mind. And that mind can be totally aligned to the divine mind. What does that say about our potentiality? What does it say about us? This divine potentiality is our birthright as well. That divine mind is, and when my mind and your mind and our minds come together and can align with divine mind, and in the master Carver Ching, and through meditation, through quiet, through prayer, the divine negativa, the morning energy, the other two energies we're talking about, start your day, getting connected. And now, divine mind, it can then align our ideas and how we want to show up and create with that divine mind. And it divinely then expresses in a way that's expressed. It might say, well, that sounds great in unity. That's Charles Fillmore. I'm talking new thought here. This is, the whole, Emma Curtis Hopkins and Emily Cady and Ernest and Fenwick Holmes and Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. This is this whole revolution. You say it's so new. It's new thought. It's so new. Way back. What do you want to do? China or Greece? We'll do either one. It's all been there all along. We've talked about the Tao. Let me play this out a little bit. In Taoist concept, there's something called the Li, L-I. I think you would pronounce it Li, if someone knows better. And what it is the ultimate principle of things, the beautiful principle of things, eternal principle. And there's this mysterious stuff they call the Qi. We've heard Qi, right? Qi energy, Qigong. Li, the divine principle, they don't use the word divine, the ultimate principle then expresses through the Qi, which shows up in the world. Charles Fillmore, there's this thing called mind, which expresses in this eternal thing we call substance, that then expresses to the world. Li, mind, Qi, substance, expresses. You want some more historical? This idea has been around for a long time. Oh, if you want to later, anyone want to dork out with me on philosophy, we'll talk about Hegel and Kant and all these guys. It's been around. But it's not like, oh, well, isn't this all the way? There's a lot of energy and movement in the world that says, nah, there's no principle, there's no divine mind, there's no God, there's just stuff. I got mine and you get yours, and it's a big battle. I win, you lose, dualistic consciousness, win-lose consciousness. If I win, you lose. In order for me to win, you got to lose. There's a lot of that out there. It's a very dense, to my sense, it's a dense way of thinking. What I'm suggesting is a holistic, harmonious, non-dual, all the energies working together, with the end result being harmony. If we want to know the end result, we say, well, this is a spiritual center, so we want to talk about spiritual things. But let me suggest to you, the first and greatest scripture, if you want to look at scripture, is just go to nature. Nature constantly tells us about the great divine mind that expressed this cosmos and this universe and this. By the way, I told you last week, the Greek word for cosmos means harmony. So when the Greeks went, I live in the cosmos, what they said is, I live in the harmony. Maybe instead of using cosmos and universe, we should say, we live in one great big harmony. Do we? Us humans find a way to upset it. From whether you're talking Taoism or Christianity, or there's a whole movement, and what I love is this whole movement of Neo-Confucianism. It came out of the Song Dynasty. At the same time, Europe was in what they called the Dark Ages. This flourishment of this philosophy was going on in China. It's so fun when you Google, go try this someday. What happened in 900 AD, 1000 AD? It's going to tell you what happened in Europe. Yeah, but what was happening in the Americas? What was happening in Africa? What was happening in India? What was happening in China? There's a lot happening. We live in a time where we can draw from these beautiful traditions, and we see these connections, and we see this valuable way we can pull all this together. But here's the piece that I love about unity, and I love about the Tao too. And others, maybe I don't even know about, maybe you know, tell me, others that align with the same kind of tradition, is that there's a lot of sort of contemporary philosophers who get the same idealism, they might call it philosophical idealism. This way, ideals outpicture into reality. But what unity does, what New Thought does, what science of mind, what divine science, with all this unfolding in the 20th century of this way of re-looking at the Western Christian tradition that brings in this non-dual thought, this harmonious whole thought, is they say these divine ideas, the ideas we want to express, can be aligned with the divine idea. Not just any idea. People say, oh, whatever what I think is going to manifest out in the world. Well, sure. And you can manifest all sorts of stuff. Bombs, wars. Yeah, it works. But the piece is, what we're trying to align with is the divine ideas. Well, where do we start? We just did a beautiful piece of art. As you walk out the door, did you notice the piece that Melinda and group and all the people worked on it? Isn't that amazing? What's the name of it? Threads? Divine Threads? What's it called? Divine Threads. I think that's what we named it. There's a little write-up about the community project to make that piece of art as you're going out the door on the wall. Is in Unity said, well, there is things you can express. Like what? Like what? Like love. Like life. Like deep wisdom. Like understanding. Like faith. Like we have the divine idea of power, which is what we speak. Oh, words? Talk about divine idea expressing. Words? Speaking to myself here, we want to guard our words. Careful with every word. Words have power. They're divine ideas. They're part of this divine energy that comes through, and we are aligned with that. And when we speak, really matters. Let's guard Frank, let's guard my words. Let's guard our words, everybody. Let's guard our words as a community. Yeah, life, strength, divine elimination. It's not like, oh, divine ideas create, so just create whatever you want. There's a temperedness to it. There's a temperedness to it. And the other scripture, the big scripture, which is nature, well, we have the others. We have our Christian scripture. We have the teachings of Jesus. We have the teachings of Lao Tzu. We have all the great adepts. We have the material from Islam. We have from all over the world. And they typically, there's some connection here. It says, align such that there's compassion. And our master teacher Jesus would say, picking up the Hebrew prophets from way back, and if you're going to create something and you're trying to figure out where to lean into, then lean into the poorest. Lean into who's disenfranchised. All things being equal, support the people who haven't been getting the support. Support the people who are being left out. When they asked Jesus, what are you here for? He goes, go tell John. I'm here to proclaim good news to the poor. The blind can see. The lame get healed. I'm not here for those who got it all or think they got it all. Who got the most stuff. I'm here for the people who need to hear this good news to lift them up from suffering, from lift them up from travail, to lift them up to the good news, to transcend people to a new way. I'm here for everyone. They thought he'd come and be David and be the powerful and be the one who would be the king in the guise of Saul and the guise of all that, a great powerful king is. No. I'm here for the poor. And when we look whether through the Tao or through the teachings of Jesus, through the new thought, the divine idea express, The divine is expressing for those who need to hear that touch, that understanding, that faith, that peace that lifts up. We're here for the Anawim, for the least of us. Wait a second. That's not how it always seems to work. It's exactly the turnaround in Jesus. So we don't start with, I got it all together and I'm going to create something great. We start with, I'm going to take the first part of my morning in silence and prayer and connection and contemplation. I'm going to get aligned. I'm going to get aligned with that truth, that greater truth of spirit. And prosperity becomes something of total sufficiency. And it just flows. Enough for everybody. Enough for somebody to have, $1 trillion? I don't know. That's not the message. It's enough for everybody. Especially those who are suffering and the poor and don't have enough and who are going through sicknesses. And this is part of all our lives. Lifting up those who are not necessarily in the place of strength and being the voice of that. Divine idea expresses. This is the divine life, the divine love. Yeah, it is the law of attraction. Stay focused, that's part of it, yeah. What do we envision? And it's powerful when what we can envision is aligned with the divine mind. Yeah. And let's not presuppose we know what that is. Let's be humble and open enough to say, maybe there's a way that the divine is working on the margins, is working with, these energies that you wouldn't expect. They asked Mother Teresa, so you've got a multi-million-dollar business, Sisters of Charity. So you're creating all this great stuff, and you're making all this stuff, and you're making all these chapters and all these hospitals and doing all this stuff. What's your financial plan? How are you making a financial plan? And Mother Teresa said, I do have a financial plan. I pray. I pray. I connect. I align. I keep true to that divine archetypes, the divine ideas, and let those divine ideas express through my ideas into life. And I don't have to control it, and I don't have to be right, and I don't have to be better than, and I don't have to win. I love this. When I came, it was when Mother Teresa said, stop worrying about being successful. Be faithful. Be faithful. That's it. It changes the way we approach creativity. I'm going to create in a way that's faithful. I'm going to create based on an energy of prayer and connection with divine mind. And that's my via creativity. So let me ask you if you'd like to close your eyes for a second. And thinking in terms of this notion of the creative way, the creative way of the divine. And we know these divine ideas, and here's the thing, each of us with a mind, as we open our own mind and we open and say, I'm open, I'm willing, I'm here to be connected to the divine ideas that are calling to me. There is that which is mine to do. There is that which is yours to do. There is the divine mind with the divine archetypes that's reaching out even now into our consciousness, just moving into our consciousness that wants to be expressed by you. Yeah, what is that? It's hard to hear what's to be expressed to me when I'm distracted. Here's the thought, just like right now, we find these moments of silence, with moments of being in that creative place where we say, I am open, like the monk said, it is now noon and I am open. I'm asking the question, is how I'm doing this, is the way I'm doing this, am I truly aligned? I'm open for an answer. My mind is open. My consciousness is open. And I'm open and allowing of divine consciousness to come through me. I'm I'm not wanting to express like I want to express. I want to make that bell, just allowing the energy of the bell to come through me and express in the world. What is mine to express? And there is that which wants to be and can only be expressed by each one of us here. And there is that can only be and wants to be expressed by Unity of Bellingham in a way nobody else can express. No other community will express it the way this community expresses it. And we sit and we ask in that vibration. I'm open, willing, listening. Allow us to see the vision that is ours to express. And we sit in that resonance and we sit in that openness and we allow it to flow. Then we allow it to flow. Almost effortlessly, we allow that to flow. Okay, we'll take that question into a moment of silence. Yeah, the silence. Okay, I have a handful of announcements. Oh, and the last announcement, just to get you ready, is going to be birthdays. So if you've got a September birthday, just be ready to come up. Okay, and we have cake. Of course we have cake. So, this is a funny message. So we have a lot of plants, which you might notice, and we've got a lot more plants. And we have people who are watering those plants, and they need to be watered on a schedule. So for whoever it is being so kind to give them extra water, thank you, and don't do that anymore. The plants are getting overwatered, and that's not what we want. So if it's your job to water plants, thank you. And if it's not, thank you for, just loving them. Just send them a blessing. Don't give them water. There's a interesting thing. You guys remember John Mason, our friend John Mason? Many of you know John Mason. He's part of a project, and they started, it's just kind of cool. It's called a Seeker's Library. And it's just some compilation of all sorts of spiritual books that maybe you don't find in other places, and old books and things that might be. I haven't been there, I don't know, but he left a flyer about where this new Seeker's Library, and it's opening up. So we have this flower on the bulletin board over here, and I can't wait to check it out. I don't know what volumes they got, but you'd like it. It might be kind of interesting. Personally, I have never not found anything at Bellingham Library, but who knows? There could be some good stuff there. So good project. By the way, so next Saturday, if you have volunteered and you know who you are, and it's probably almost everyone here, or if it's not, come see me after. We need to talk, or see Sherry. Sherry, thank you, Sherry. By the way, Sherry, because she's been working so hard to get the volunteers. How many total volunteers did we get signed up?
Over 30.
We have over 30 individuals who have volunteered to help with the Northwest Conference, which doesn't even include all the AV team. And I don't know if you'd call Janae a volunteer, or she's going to be busy that week, as will I. And it doesn't include Diane and some other people who are doing stuff, other stuff. So there's going to be like 35 plus people who will be working to support all the people coming from the region. So thank you in advance, volunteers. We need to have a meeting. I know, Saturday morning, we put it at 10. That's enough time to get up and get coffee and have breakfast, whatever. We don't make it too early because we got to have breakfast, or too late, you'll be busy doing other things. So 10 o'clock next Saturday. If you are a volunteer, please come by. We need to meet the teams and get ready and know exactly what you're going to do. I have promised Lafine Donuts. It's by my house, if that helps. We'll have donuts, or maybe that's the last thing you want. But anyhow, we'll have something here for you. So 10 o'clock if you're a volunteer next Saturday here. It'll be fun. Yeah. If anyone, we've asked this before when we had the outdoor service, but we have a lot of, if you don't know, the Earth Care has made a lot of trails, and we've got these sort of sections, that cut out sections. Eventually we're going to build some benches and put them there, but we're probably not going to get the benches done. They're so close, but they're not going to be done by next week. That's okay. They'll get there when they get there. It's all in divine order. It's flowing as it will. But in the meantime, if you have a couple lawn chairs and you want to bring them in, we want to place some lawn chairs all over down in the wooded area, and we're going to set those up for the conference. So if you bring them in next Saturday, you might want to just put like a piece of blue tape on it or something with your name, so we get them back to you. And we'll just gather those up, and we're going to put lawn chairs all out through our sacred areas outside. Now, here's something interesting. Another thanks. Here's something else that's been going on. Sandra Solikip and the folks have been holding the High Watch. The High Watch team met a while ago, but there has been, the talk about creativity. There has been a group that's been holding the consciousness for the highest and best for this big event that's coming up here at Unity of Bellingham. They've been meeting beforehand in the room over here, the chaplain's room, and they've been sitting for a half hour before service, just holding the energy as it unfolds, as we unfold towards this Pacific Northwest Conference. You can talk to Reverend Sandra Solikip if you still want to join that committee. There will be people praying pretty much throughout the whole 3-day piece, just to hold the energy. And so grateful. And doesn't that just align with what we talked about today? If you want to create something, stay in the consciousness of the vision of what you want and stay aligned with God. We're open to hear what needs to flow here to be the highest, the best, the most beautiful, the truth, the most supportive for the emergence of unity and for the good, for our city, for the world. Yeah. So thanks, High Watch team, and all of you have done that. So we've been doing all this stuff. So one thing, then the conference will be over, in a couple weeks. And then we're going to move on with life as normal. And usually in the fall, we do have a class. So I've been really excited. Here's a book I've been wanting to share with you for years. And so this is going to be the time. It's a book by Lynn Twist. It's called The Soul of Money. The books are in, and we're going to have a sign-up sheet, and we'll probably have that out next week. But just to let you know, heads up, The Soul of Money, Lynn Twist. And I'll talk more about it later. But what a life-changing book. And actually, a lot of what I spoke about today, of what you want, you hold in consciousness in order it to outpicture and to your abundance and to your sufficiency of all your needs being met. And this is a book about that principle. And it's really quite beautiful how she did fundraising around the whole planet for like a decade. Soul of Money, so watch out for that. The sign-up sheets will be going up. And also, we also have the auction. We're not having a big event this year for the auction like we did because of the conference. We just can't get another big event. But what we're going to do is we're going to have things on the walls. We're going to put them out on 3 Sundays in October and have a chance to bid. And every Sunday you come in, you can see the cool things and bid again. We'll also have some things online. So for those of you watching, there'll be some online bidding, there'll be some in-person bidding, and then towards the end of the month, we'll close out the bidding. We've already got a lot of items just from word of mouth. People, Dean brought in something really cool the other. Where's Dean? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm bidding on your thing. Anyhow, in the past, art, activities, ideas, cooking lessons, things you want to do for people, services you want to offer, art. Someone brought a bike last year. I think someone got a great deal on a bike. I mean, anything like that, call Janae, bring it to the office. There is a little bit of quality control check as thing comes in the door, and then we'll have things for the auction. How does that sound? I know, lots going on. Also, I wanted to mention, that opening song? Did you mention? No. About the blessing of being on the ocean? Did you say, these guys just got back from a cruise with New Thought musicians? Did you know? Kathy, Marcia, Deborah, yeah, they've been cruising and learning music, so we're going to get the benefit of all their inspiration on the high seas. Okay.